a little flustered, I think.
That's okay.
Anyway.
Deep breaths in, Mona, and we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to W- Wellness Wednesday. I'm here with Mona. She's in Saudi. Thank you for joining us, Mona, all the way from there, miles and
Thank
miles away.
you.
Yeah, Mona and I were in school together. Oh my God. Again, I know you for 40 plus years, and we're just going to leave it that. Right?
That was a bit much, but yeah, I put it in 3 decades.
Okay, 3 decades. I think three
Yeah,
is a better number. Yeah. All right.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
No, 4 decades. Anyway,
yeah.
moving along. So today's topic is actually pretty interesting in the sense that when we were talking a few weeks ago, she mentioned a new modality called MBIT, and that really sparked my interest. And I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. And we spoke a little about it. Mona, I'm going to let you introduce yourself, and then we'll take it on from there. So
All
take it
right,
away.
okay. Number one, thank you so much, Huma, for inviting me to this
Yeah,
platform
thank
and
you for
for
coming.
having this conversation. I know we've been having it in the background, but to have it here is a
Yeah,
fantastic place, for others to know about these things as well. So
absolutely.
thank you very much. So yeah, I'm Mona. I'm professionally a dentist as well, but apart from that, I recently sort of came into the personal development area a couple of years ago. Mainly, and I'm an NLP master practitioner, which is neuro linguistic programming, and I've done my MBIT practitioner as well, and then relationship coaching. So all of these things come under the kind of modality of coaching. So when I'm taking a client online or in person, I mix and match all these modalities to see what suits them. M-braining and M-bit, I mean, it's basically the same thing. M-braining is basically this concept, the M basically standing for multiple brains. Yep. So, we normally have this concept that we just have a brain in the head. But this is a really interesting set of, I mean, it's a beautiful book, actually. Sorry, it's blurred, so I can't show it to you, but I'll
That's
pass
okay.
you the link later on. Um, and it's this concept of having more than one brains. So, there is a head brain, and the fact that there's a brain in the heart as well, and a brain in the gut. And actually, there's more as well. But yeah, exactly. There are more brains as well. So I think there are 5 or 6 in total.
Wow, I had no
Um,
idea. Yeah, we only
yeah,
talk about the brain, and now recent was, well, kind of the gut. It's like with your gut instinct, so that's kind of a brain as well. But the heart was like, oh, a heart has a brain too, because we get all emotional and then we start talking from our
exactly.
heart, right? But the combination of all the three was just beautiful. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if I say something like, we often say things, okay, hold it there. I really need to digest that.
Right.
Where do you think that's coming from? So we show it up in language as well. Or, just 1 second, I just really need to get it right. So if you
Mm,
notice, I'm putting my hand next to my head. I need to think it out,
right. Right. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
think it out. Or then, it's sometimes like, oh, expressions like my heart is sinking. Or,
Mm.
when I meet you, my heart is filled with joy or something, or warmth.
My
These are
heart's gonna
all
be
basic. There you go, exactly. So we can
right.
actually,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's so many expressions we actually don't even notice that we're using
Mm,
in day-to-day life, which are actually the origin of them are these intelligences. And actually, there was a very good thing that you said about earlier about, like I knew about the head, brain, and the gut. And the reason being, and that's one of the reasons why this emerged as well, the concept of embraining. Sorry, let me just go back to say embraining is this concept of multiple braining. MBIT is basically multiple brain integrative techniques. So it's the techniques we use, to align the brains. So there's a bit of a distinction between that. And this came into existence actually by two people, Grant and Marvin. And Marvin was actually based in Hawaii, and if I'm not wrong, he was actually also a
mm.
hypnotherapist, and he used to have these grand sort of like these live shows where he would make changes in people. And Grant, if I remember correctly, was more of an analyst and lots of other things, but data analyst. And they came together and modeled, they looked at a lot of research papers. So M-braining is really the baby of three main things. So it's, well, actually a couple, but it's based on neuroscience.
Mhm.
So old traditions, esoteric traditions, Abrahamic religions or other religions and traditions, whether it's Buddhism or faculties. And it's based on a lot of data from how the brains function or the heart functions, the gut functions, and any pathologies related to that. So they basically had like tons of information which they analyzed, and behavioral modeling. They put all of this together and found the links, and hence created this modality of embraining. And the whole idea behind it being, so you know how you earlier said, I'm aware of the head brain. That's exactly it. If you notice the world, we're such in a headspace right now.
Always, yeah.
It's always about thinking what's right and wrong. Okay, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And even if you look at the political level or just at a government level, on a wider thing, I mean, we're living in a world where we have imbalances between masculine and feminine energies, between the roles that women and men play, whether it's the cultural the climate change and all those other sort of issues that are happening around the world, overpopulation. It's a real head-based kind of thing, and that's exactly what it is. What we really need to live by is thinking from the head, connected with heart-based values, and connecting it with the gut instincts. And when you merge those three things together, that is where you get alignment and congruence. So even within ourselves, those times when we're like, when we get really stuck, like, you need a promotion. And if you want to have a promotion, you've got to put X number of extra amount of hours in. But either, I mean, you just don't feel like doing it, or, something just doesn't, you don't have, I don't know, it just gets stuck somewhere. Sometimes you even say, I've got a lump tongue, or when we go for public speaking.
Oh,
right?
gosh, yeah.
You feel exactly that, and I know you do a lot of it, Homa, so you might probably pass that. Some novice people like us basically get lumps in our throat. So that's actually our gut communicating to us. That's something.
What about the butterflies in my stomach? Every time, yes. I mean, I love the stage. I love the mic, but obviously you do have that sometimes. Oh, butterflies in your stomach. How does that relate?
It's the same thing. Again, it's so basically what it is. All our intelligences, as we call it, the head, heart, and gut, and more of them, they all have their own criteria. They all speak their own language. They all have their own neural connections. They all have their prime functions. So what we start doing actually is sometimes we start thinking from the heart when we're very emotional, or we start feeling from the gut. Now, if you think about it, the head is a place to think, right? The main function of the head brain, the prime function, is to make meaning, cognitive thinking, criteria, what's right and wrong.
It's the logical part of our
logic. It's a logic.
Right.
The heart, the prime functions, it's a place where we connect with people. It's where we emote, where we have when we have feelings, all our feelings from here, our values, things that are most important to us. Whether the way we look or how we behave in front of people, any of that, that those values come from here. And the gut is a place where your core identity lies. When you know who you are. Your courage lies over here. Your fear also lies in the gut. And basically it's about two other things: self-preservation. So, I mean, you must be familiar with this concept as well in NLP and anything about the mind. We basically are, the biggest fear that our subconscious has, it wants to basically keep us alive.
Right.
And right. Safe. So and safe. So it's all about self-preservation. So the minute we put our hand into the fire and immediately withdraw it, that's our neural system kicking in, sending a motor response into the hand and letting our hand, withdraw from it, because it's primarily trying to keep us alive. That's what it is. So the same way, the gut is that's where it lies, in the gut. That self-preservation comes from the gut. And hence mobilization or immobilization. So whether you do something about it or you don't do something about it, that is a gut-based feeling. I mean, sorry, actually, did you notice that? It's a gut-based feeling.
Yeah.
That's not right. I just confused it as well. That's a gut-based action or inaction.
Okay.
That's we mix it up. So those are the prime functions. So it's important to understand in any scenario, what is it that we require? Do we need to feel something? Do we need to get action on something? Or do we need to think about it? And often enough, I'm sure when I was saying that to you, you probably even realized we need to do all three.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you. So we have to be aligned in
That's
all
what it
these.
is.
Okay. So the alignment in the brain, mind, heart, and gut is very
Yeah,
important because we miss
that's
out
right.
one of the. It's one of the things is out of the equation, and then we're like we still feel stuck.
That's what
Did
it
I get that
is.
right? Okay. Yeah. And then
And
and the other
that's where
multiple brains that you mentioned.
the MBIT techniques come in. So
Mhm.
the whole session is about the coach inviting the client to communicate with each of their brains. That's the number one step.
And somebody who's
So,
never been through something like this, is it easy for them to kind of go with the flow?
well, sometimes some people instinctively get into it. So
Hmm.
often people who like do a lot of yoga or do a lot of inner work or meditations,
They get
those are
it.
the kind of clients, they get it. They come
Yeah.
into the room, you tell them, what's your heart saying, what's your head trying to say, and they'll be like, yeah, yeah, da, 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 and they'll just start off. And
Okay.
but sometimes not everyone is always connected, right? They haven't
Right.
started that journey yet, so
Hmm.
it's a little bit more challenging. But that's it. That's up to the coach to create that kind of language and space
Hmm.
for the client to be able to do that. And often enough, when they're not able to do that, even that's a block within the system. So
How
here
would
it
you get rid
is.
of that block?
Well, that's it. I mean, there are a lot. I mean, through language, through some other techniques within the session. That's what we do. So that's what happens. Now, what happens is, imagine there's a table, right? And there's a dining table. We're all so you've got the heart, the head, and the gut. So these three people are basic. These three intelligences are supposed to be on the table. Now we've got a matter at hand. Now, what can happen? The ideal situation is all three of them are sitting on the table and having a nice little conversation. Who does what? The head can think, the heart can feel about it, and the gut can take the action, right? But often enough, what happens is a couple of things can happen. Either the three of them are there, but there's one who's predominantly speaking, you
Hmm.
know, so like emotional people, like people who always cry, not always crying, but tend to get a lot really angry easily or cry easily.
A
It's a
little
very
sensitive.
heart-based action, a little sensitive, yeah. So it's sensitive, but they're speaking from the heart. So
Right.
the heart is ruling that conversation. The
Hmm.
gut and the head could be listening in, but it's the heart that's making the conversation. And as we can understand, not all decisions or conversations can be heart-based.
Right.
That would not be, I mean, when we're saying the head is not, I mean, it's a world of it's a head-based world. A
Hmm.
heart-based world solely would not work either, right?
Right.
Or they could be sitting on the table and you know again, their functions are wrong. So the heart could think while their brain is feeling. So they're
Hmm.
not they're not doing their functions properly.
Right.
So basically, there's some sort of hierarchy that's not there. Either one is on the table and the others are left out, or all three are there and one sort of like subdues the other. So
Hmm.
that's the process that happens in MBIT and the MBIT. Oh, sorry, in the in the MBraining coaching environment, that we figure out which brain is playing a part and which brain is not, and who needs to speak up more, and where's that balance.
Okay.
And it's that communication. So in the session, that's what we would ideally do. Number one, get the client to talk with each of their intelligences. And this can take, it's not a one session thing. Sometimes it
Yeah.
can run for a couple of sessions, depending, again, like you mentioned, some people might find it challenging.
Hmm.
And the next thing after that is to align them, right? To kind of see what do they each need from each other.
Yeah. Okay. And then eventually, if maybe one session, maybe multiple sessions, do they all? The idea is to get them all on one page.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's called. So we used balanced breathing in that, which is a special kind of breathing. So you have box breathing and all those other kind of breathing that are around. So we use balanced breathing, which is like so it's like, I mean, we can practice it now. It's just like a 6 second one. So you know how you have like a sine curve,
Yeah.
right? Like we did that in maths 30 years ago. Yeah. Um, so
Okay. We'll stick to 30.
let's stick to 30. Right. So and it goes really smooth, right?
Right.
So that's what we're trying to achieve from this breathing.
Hmm.
We're taking a deep breath in for a count of 6. That's the ideal, and I'll explain to you why in a bit. So you're taking a deep breath in for 6 counts: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm breathing out: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're trying to do this very easily and evenly and comfortably. It's not a forced one. So it's like a,
Yeah.
no. You're really trying to follow that curve, and the more flowy you can make it, the better. And sometimes people can't do 6, it's too much, bring it to a 5, whatever's your bliss point, whatever's good for you.
Right.
The count of 6, and even if you, and this is good daily practice, even if you do it for 1.5 minutes every day, what this shows you is it allows our brains to get into what we call the highest expression.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the sympathetic and parasympathetic system in our brain. So just for the viewers as well, the sympathetic system is your fight and freeze, right? Like, if you see a lion come into the room and you go,
Yep.
first you just gasp, yes. Your body has this whole load of neural connections that are going on, and it makes you react in a particular way. And the whole
Right.
thing is self-preservation again. And the opposite is parasympathetic, which is really there, to balance the sympathetic off, to cool you down. So it's on the other end when you're kind of really relaxed, all your bodily functions are at a low key. Now, either one of those functions are not ideal for anything to operate. So what
Yeah,
we're
you can't be
trying
too relaxed and you can't be too out there. Yeah.
Exactly. So what we're trying to do with this breathing is bring the balance.
Beautiful. Okay.
And this is what this breathing allows. And when we get this breathing in, it is up. So if you're ever stuck in any decision or, flabbergasted with some emotions or something, take a moment out, do these breaths for a minute or 2 minutes. So it gets all your brains in a balanced position. And that's where they can think in the highest expression, which means that they're the most creative, the most courageous, and the most compassionate at that time.
Amazing. Okay. And this is what I tell my clients to, if you cannot make a decision in a stressful situation, so literally take 2 steps back, like physically move out
Absolutely.
of the situation. And then now you're looking at it from a third person's perspective, and obviously do the breathing exercise, take some deep breaths in, calm yourself down, and solutions will come to you because we have all the resources within ourselves. We just have to tap into it. And obviously, harbara nahi hoti. It's like
Yeah,
it gets too
absolutely.
much in a stressful situation. So I really
So
like
what
this.
you're saying is exactly what I'm saying, but it's just I'm just saying it in a neuroscientific way. Basically, that's what I'm trying to tell you. So you're exactly that. That's exactly
Yeah.
what's happening with it.
Beautiful. So you calm your nerves down and you're like, okay, now let me look at the situation and see
Yeah.
what can be done. Because we always have options, right? We always have options. And this is what I mentioned actually at Farah's thing when I went on Zoom with her, was like, sometimes we look back and we blame ourselves, like, 5 years ago I made this decision, I shouldn't have done it. And I'm like, no, look back at it, because at that time, in that situation, with the information that you knew, with the people who supported you or didn't support you, that was the best decision, and hence move forward instead of
We
blaming
make
yourself.
best decisions at the time. Absolutely.
Exactly. So
And
yeah,
there's no failure, only feedback, right? So it's always interesting to see what happened and how it worked out, and if it didn't work out, what went wrong, rather than, and what we normally do is beat ourselves up about it,
oh yeah,
repeat the
it's my
stories,
fault.
and
It's your fault.
it's
I mean,
my
we love to play
fault.
the
Yeah,
blame game, right?
yeah, exactly. Either
Okay.
externally or internally. Yeah, either way is not right.
Absolutely. All right, beautiful. I love this. Okay, so just very quickly, if you can describe me, what does a typical session look like? So it sounds like it's like almost like parts therapy. I don't know if you're familiar with the parts therapy where,
Mhm.
yeah, okay. So it sounds like, part of the mind part, the heart part, and the gut part are sitting in a conference room on a
Yeah.
table. And now we're having this discussion. Okay, what should be done, kind of thing. What should be done,
Yeah.
and find solutions. And then the gut takes the action, like, or tells us what to do, or how does it, just an overview?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, in a typical session like that, so I kind of, at the moment, I'm like blending it in. So I will take on a
Right.
client and do my NLP coaching and blend this in a couple of sessions. And
Mhm.
obviously, the people who are doing purely MBIT coaching sessions, right? And
Mhm.
basically, the client would come in, and we're looking at some area where the client is a bit stuck and they're not getting the action. So we really want to just explore that block. So it's more about the client breathing in and us guiding the client to have those conversations with each of the brains, creating the alignment together with the language and what we're discovering and the breathing. And what it allows them to do is now start thinking, okay, what does the head think of this block or this challenge, right? And what does the heart feel or value about this? And what's the gut coming up with? So the action will come from the gut, but in any action, sometimes we were ready for the action, but there's something still doesn't feel right, so we don't do it. So there's like this inner conflict.
Right.
And this is what the whole alignment process is about. It sort of like gives the heart the courage with the support of the heart and the head. And that's that internal conversation that we try to lead our clients with in the session, to let the heart, and so it's not just an exclusive conversation with each intelligence, but communicating with each other, because it's by the very act of understanding each other and our internal. So again, your parts, the thought of, you're talking about parts, I'm talking about intelligence. It's the same concept.
Right.
They need to also understand each other. They also need to understand what they need to give each other. Sometimes the brain just needs to, it's overthinking so much. It just needs to step back and give the heart a little bit of space and support, that I'm here, but I'm just going to be silent.
Okay.
Or sometimes the heart is just really so full of emotions that it needs a little bit of courage from the gut. It needs a little bit of, support from the head to say, I've got you, babes. I've really got you. So it's a really, and what I love about this is, once people have done a few sessions of this, it's something you can do on yourself as well.
Yeah, on your own. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously when it's guided, it's a different thing altogether. But once you get the concept, you can just, have a moment to yourself and see, okay, what is, and you can try this at home, with anything that you're feeling over emotional or getting stuck, just tap in and kinesthetic touches. So, we will be telling our client to just, touch your heart, just hear what you're hearing from the heart,
Yeah.
I mean, even now.
We did something last time we were talking. What was it? I can't remember now. It was something somatic, like.
It was the kinesthetic interrupt, I think.
Oh, yes, it was.
I scared you.
You're like, oh, I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah. So, again, that's the concept of, look, everything is energies, right? So with quantum physics and stuff, this is what we've learned, that everything is stored as an energy. So even if there's something that we're feeling within our body, it carries some sort of energy, and every energy moves. So, the very fact that when it's within you, you can replicate it outside. And if we interrupt it externally, the effect will also go inside. So, well, it's a lot. Yeah, sometimes it can be a bit gibberish. You have to experience it to really know.
I got it, but yeah. All right, beautiful. That's amazing. So, what can MBIT be used for? Like any cases?
Well, a couple of things, loads of things. So, when you're trying to make any decision in relationships, if you're trying to, problem solve something, or if you're in some sort of chronic emotional state all the time, be it depression or anxiety or any of those things, harnessing your intuition, just trying to, tweak your intuition a little bit, cultivating and understanding perspective. Because what's happening is that often enough, we're all not aligned. So we always have one brain which is overperforming than the others. So, it's trying to give that space to all your intelligences to come in and say what they're saying. So, by just tuning in and noticing where your conversation is coming from, would just make that change. And then, if your heart's speaking too much and if you're too emotional, just check in. What does the head think about this? And what does it need to do? What action does the gut need to take, or inaction sometimes?
So here's something that just popped up in my head. So the gut takes action. So does it also, those people who have emotional eating issues or binge eating?
Ooh, I love it. I love what you said.
Is that where it comes from?
There's a huge connection with all of that. So this is the brilliant thing about embraining, that this is all neuro. So for all the people, who don't understand or don't want to understand heart-based conversations, this is actually neuroscience based. So there's actually research. They've studied a lot of research papers and seen these connections. So here's the thing: things like IBS, what they showed is that almost 90% of people who have IBS suffer from some sort of psychiatric disorder, diagnosed or undiagnosed. So it could be, anxiety or whatever else that you say. So they're often interconnected. And what happens is it works two ways. So when your IBS gets bad in the gut, it affects how you think.
Mm.
And if we think too much, it affects our gut. It's a two-way process.
Wow. Okay.
And the same thing with, like the probiotics and prebiotics that a lot of people are taking. So the probiotics, that people are really taking, they're actually, they are. So when people start taking them, they start noticing changes in their moods as well for people who suffer with IBS, if it helps them. So there are lots of neural connections that are going around. And gosh, yeah, I've got to share a couple of other things as well.
Please, this is interesting.
So yeah, so you might have heard this. So people who have had heart transplants, right, or any other sort of heart transplants, I think the movies on this as well, where they find that the personality has changed once they've received the heart of a donor.
Okay.
So that has actually also been researched, and there's a lady called Claire, I can't remember her second name, and this is back in the 1970s. I think she was a lady in her mid-40s, and she had a heart and lung transplant. And she received the heart of an 18-year-old motorbike enthusiast who actually passed away in a motorbike accident. So when she had a heart transplant, lo and behold, she started having a love for chicken nuggets and beer and motorbikes. Needless to say, she did not have those affections before. And I mean, I think there's more to it as well. She had a lot of dreams associated with it as well. And when she then finally got in touch with the donor's family, she got to know that the guy was a motorbike enthusiast. And those were the things he liked. So this is it, like even the heart. So when I say intelligences, right, or brains, what makes a brain? What makes a brain? I mean, let me ask you.
I was just thinking memories of the organ holds memories. Our cells hold memories as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And on a biological level or physiological level, basically the brain has neurons, they have synaptic connections, they have neurotransmitters, they have processes which allow the signals to flow. So that's how we define a brain, right? Like on a biological level, that's what you would require, the ingredients. Mm-hmm. And research has shown that those things are in the brain and the gut. So all those neural connections. In fact, so when the head brain has I don't know, I think 30 billion neural connections. The heart actually has, the head brain has 50 to 100 billion neural connections, right? The gut brain has around 500,000. And the heart has, I think, I've got it written down somewhere, that has like around 30 to 120,000 neural connections as well. So all of this has been documented. So the heart actually has an ability to be independent from the head. And the heart can also, we just think about the heart as feelings, but the heart can also learn, it can remember, it can store memories. So I'm sure, the connection with the traumas.
Yeah.
So, sometimes like, if we've lost a loved one, sometimes around that time, unconsciously, we start either remembering that person or feeling a little low, and it's because the memories are stored in here. So it shows up in beautiful ways. So coming back to Claire, that's exactly what happened. The heart, the little boy, the 18-year-old boy's heart, the connections were still there. The memories were still stored in the heart. So when she received that heart, that's what happened.
So there was like this instant connection, the mind and the heart and the gut aligned.
Well, I don't know if there was the connection. First, it was the realization that why am I having these cravings or thoughts or dreams? It was because it was coming from the memories of the 18-year-old heart. Those connections weren't hers. There was the connection, the neural connections within the heart of the boy. But once she's received it, it was now integrating in the body. And then I think there was, I'm forgetting the story. Please apologies for that. But she had some dream where, I don't know, she saw the, it's something like she felt like the whole thing had merged. And that's when her body kind of like really psychologically accepted, okay, I could feel it was somebody else's heart, but now it's a part of me.
Hmm. And I know this is going to go beyond our topic, but somehow
Yeah.
the connection of soul should be
Yeah.
just probably just kind of, I don't know, we can talk about that later, but just
Yeah, exactly.
it's like
That'll become quite
what
a big
about
topic. Yeah.
organs? Yeah, exactly. But what about the
Yeah.
soul of that person? Anyway, all
Yeah.
right, beautiful. Okay, so tell me about some a case, a complicated case, or an easy case, or something interesting.
Actually, before that, can I share one more thing? Because
Yeah,
it's really
please.
interesting as well. So again, dreams.
Mm.
So what happens is when we sleep, maybe you know more about this, but when we sleep, and when we say, "Oh gosh, I need to sleep it over," you know,
Yeah.
like when
Mm.
sometimes there's just too many things happening, and like, okay, fine, I can't make a decision right now. Let me just have a little bit of a nap, sleep it off, and then I'll decide what to do. That actually is correct, because when we sleep, our
Mm.
intelligences are having a chance to integrate within each other, communicate with each other, what they're doing, what's happening, blah blah blah, and to the head as well. And it often enough comes in dreams. Now, obviously, I mean, I'm not a dream interpreter or anything like that, but again, there was a story about this woman, again in her mid 40s, and all of this is documented and researched and stuff,
Mhm.
right? A lady in her 40s, absolutely fit and well, nothing wrong with her. And she started having these dreams where she saw there was a fence, and there were some people, like really frail and weak people, across the fence, and they were talking something to her, but she couldn't understand the language. So, and she had these dreams repeatedly over a couple of weeks, and every time those people increased, their voices got a little louder, and but she couldn't make sense of it. So obviously got really worried, called up her clinician, and he said, "Come over, we'll do some tests." She did
Mm.
all her regular blood tests, scans, or whatever was needed. Everything was fine, no issues. The dreams were still coming, and they were coming even louder and louder and louder, and the people were coming really close up to her. Until one day, she completely stopped having the dream at all. When you're having a dream repeatedly out for a couple of weeks, and then suddenly it stops, and you just realize, okay, what happened?
Right.
So I don't know other details of the story, but what ended up happening was she went back to the same physician, and she was like, okay, what's the deepest part of my like organ within my body?
Mm.
And he's like, well, that's the colon. She's like, okay, I need to have like that, with the scans and stuff. I need to get it scanned up and check up. He's like, look, we don't do that. You need to have some symptoms of some reason for us to do that. And she's like, just trust me, just do it. And again, lo and behold, they found out that she had early grade colon cancer.
Oh gosh, wow.
And just by the basis of these dreams, was she able to connect with it and find out there was something not right within her body. So that's how powerful this stuff is about connecting. So nothing is, when we have those subconscious thoughts, or we have those conversations and things just come in our head. I don't
Yeah.
think anything of that is to be ignored. There is some truth to it. There is some intuition there. There's something your
Yeah, but
intelligence is trying to
like you
tell you.
said, we're so in our head that we don't think in those terms, right? We want the logical mind to kick in and give us logical reasoning for those things, but we don't go above and beyond and say, wait, let me just sit with this, or
Yeah.
sleep on it and see what is the solution. And it's interesting you say that, because I know some people who do this. They ask a question and they just trust that the answer is going to come to them in their sleep, and to just sleep with it, and they actually wake
Yeah.
up with answer or answers, and they have a journal next to their bed, so as soon as you get
Yeah.
up, you write it down, because you tend to forget.
That's really
And
interesting. So those are the people who are really internally connected with themselves. They've already practiced that, and they notice their intuition. So it's that awareness. Now, all of
yeah,
us have that inbuilt, but it's just, having that awareness, right? And connecting with it. And if you
yeah,
could practice that, then, wow.
it's amazing. Yeah, it is amazing. I've tried that, but it's like maybe I just forget, or I have too many. I'm just too much in my head. My husband does that, and he's pretty
Could be.
good at it. He gets his answers.
Yeah.
My little one, she will just, she'll do the step back technique and say, okay, how can I solve this? And then she's going to send out positive energy to everybody.
Sure.
She's
But
such a
also,
sweetheart.
what happens is, again, because we're so head based most of the time, Huma, we don't even trust our intuition, right?
Yeah,
Something might
exactly.
even be coming up, but we just ignore that signal completely. But if we, over the time, if we learn to listen and just wait around and see what happens, maybe we'd develop some trust, and maybe we'd find out, okay, right, it's telling us the right thing.
Yeah, and that's what I think self-doubt also comes in a little bit then,
Yeah,
yeah, and
absolutely.
I don't trust this voice. It doesn't make sense. And sometimes, it doesn't make sense, but that's the right thing to do. But again, it's all about how much you trust and believe in yourself, in these
Yeah.
voices, your gut.
Well, just try that breathing, and if you're even if your head's saying a lot, just maybe compassionately just tell the head, "I love you." And I'm sorry, I don't do this in my session, but just generally, I'm just saying, that you're there,
I
and
hear
I
you. I
really
see
appreciate.
you.
I hear you, but just for a second, can I just touch base with the rest of me as well? And you can listen in, but let me just have a conversation with the rest of me and see what it says, and use your hands to sort of communicate with
Yes.
your other parts of the body.
We have the energy on our hands, right? So it's
Yeah,
good.
exactly, exactly. And the earlier question that you were asking about clients, so one interesting that often happens with me, again, the fact about head based, or people over the time, or if they've had some traumatic experiences repeatedly or a one off, people
Hmm.
learn to block themselves, and they come into such a head based space that all the decisions come from their headspace. So there
Yeah.
was a client like that who had a lot of problems within her house, with marriage, with children, etc. And when I tried this technique on her, uh, I could just sense the head wanted to talk. So I let the head speak. I was like, okay, fine, go.
Hmm.
Take it out, whatever you want to say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, when I got to the heart, she was silent. And I'm like, what's
Oh.
happened? And she's like, her heart doesn't know what to say. And I tried to prompt her, and she's like, no, it's blocked. There's nothing that's coming through. It's so used to, I blocked it a long time ago, and I've just allowed my head to speak. It no longer knows what to say, and I've just completely blocked. I feel like it's got like some sort of stone on it, and it's on my heart, so I've just caged it there.
Hmm.
So those are the kind of things, and you can just, I mean, just by the very nature of what I'm telling you, just understand, if a person has stopped his heart, he's stopped valuing things, he's stopped emoting, like feeling the emotions
Yeah, I
really.
was just gonna ask. So she's probably not very emotional.
Well, I mean, she just suppressed it.
Yeah, she suppressed it, and she would. Okay, so it's almost like building a heart wall around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And the rest of them, it took a couple of sessions, but the rest of the sessions were
Hmm.
all about trying to remove that block with compassion and warmth and stuff, and with the breathing, to give that heart a space to speak. It becomes quite vulnerable at times.
Yeah.
It does require that that courage to talk about these inner beliefs and to connect. But once people get the hang of it, it's amazing. And the way it works is, so it's beautiful, because as a coach, I don't even need to tell them what to do. When they've done the alignment and the integration within, and then their brains come to their highest expressions, which means they're thinking, feeling, and doing at the highest level, what they're doing, their
Mhm.
prime functions at the best level.
Right.
It's like an idea just pops in.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
It just comes in, and not just the idea of pops in, you feel like doing it. And often enough, clients are jittery, like they want to kind of like end the session because they want to just jump up and do it.
Now, can we stop now? I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm doing this.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that, yes, that's where the alignment is reached, that's where
Right.
things are working, that's where they've got coherence, they're aligned, there's no conflict there, and they're more likely to do it,
Right. Yeah,
right? So
Mona, I
that's
think I need a
just
session
allowed.
with you.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, anytime.
For sure. Yeah. I know you mentioned that we can, once we get the hang of it, we can do it ourselves. Um, how many? Okay, so I know you said multiple sessions too, but a typical session, how long is it? Like if you do just do
Around,
one session.
yeah, I mean, like I would do it for like 60 to 90 minutes, actually.
Okay. And then once
Yeah.
you align yourself and you've done this multiple times, and let's say I'm stuck somewhere and I want to, align myself, get these guys talking, how long does a person, I know it depends on the situation and how stuck they feel, but just approximately, like, can we do it in minutes
What's
eventually?
that? Sorry, I didn't get
Just
that question.
aligning
Oh,
ourselves. If we do aligning and align
Oh, so like
ourselves.
if you're doing the work yourself after the
Yeah.
sessions, you mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean that. No, it's yeah, a couple. I would still give it like 20. I mean, I do it with myself, and I still give myself a good 20 minutes sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
Again, depending on the situation, and just
How deep rooted it is and how stuck you are,
yeah,
right? It
yeah.
depends. Yeah.
I mean, a good
Okay.
20-30 minutes. Yeah, it's not a quick. Let's take 5 breaths and we're out and doing. Yeah.
No, no. Yeah, because you could have the have the conversation with the three brains.
Yeah, and then align them, and then let them generate what ideas they're coming up with. So it's a bit of a process. Yeah.
So step one is having them come out and talk. Come out.
Yeah.
2 is talk, negotiate, try to get on the same page, and the alignment and the aha moment. Has there ever
Yeah,
been
that's right.
a time when they just have not aligned? They just not get, like siblings. They don't get along with each other.
Well, yes, and that just requires. I mean, again, that's up to the client then. So obviously, that requires more work and more sort of like more sessions. So we really, and that's up to the coach to use different techniques. We need to notice what's blocking them, and then we
Yeah.
also have ways of promoting. I mean, enhancing the effect. So we might use some candles or something which enhance that kind of effect in them as well. To be honest, I've done it more online, so I haven't practiced those things, but those things are there as well. So, that's up to the coach to sort of like reassess and see what's missing here. People should eventually come onto this route. But I think it depends really on the skills of the coach itself, how well she can navigate around it and guide the client.
That's amazing. Oh my God. I want to learn this modality as well. It just sounds so good.
It's beautiful. And again, the levels to it. So, I mean, with the next level, I can learn about the other intelligences. I've only done 3 right now. So there are more.
Wow. And then have them all, throw a party and let's say, hey, let's all the brains, let's just talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But have you ever had something that just won't budge? Just like, no. Either one. And which is the strongest one that would probably fight back? I'm thinking it would be the head.
I think it's just upon in the individual. That might be for you, but it might not be for another person at all. So it really, really varies as an individual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, this client that I was talking about who suppressed her heart, it took me quite a few sessions to get that work done, because it really wasn't talking. So it was more about, okay, letting the head speak. Chalo, gut pe chale jaate hain. Let the gut speak. Let the other speak first. And then, really sort of like creating an environment where they can do it. So yes, people can often get stuck. But also I know that people believe in it as well. So they notice that change within them, even if the process isn't complete. So they'll always want to come back and get to the end result. And another interesting thing that happens is, and I don't know, again, with you being a hypnotherapist, with your clients, remember the subconscious works in symbols.
Mm-hmm.
So often enough, what I tell my clients is, let that symbol just notice any symbol that's coming. People might see a rainbow or a flower or a bridge that they're, ready to cross, whatever it is.
Oh,
and then I often ask them, and I often ask them to, okay, just draw it out and just keep it as a Post-it. So it kind of like reminds them that that's, it's a reminder to, like an affirmation, but like in symbols to promote our, Yeah.
Okay, question. So in hypnosis, sometimes when you're working with the client, reach a stage where, things start to improve, but then they sometimes come back because of secondary gains. And I'm just going to explain secondary gains. It's like they have a reason to hold on to that particular idea, or they want to feel stuck for a reason. Do you feel that happens in your sessions? Like, okay, so for example, so one of my clients I was working with, she had depression, and we were working on that, and it was really improving at a very good rate. And then suddenly she had this one day that she just went back down. So we were like, okay, what's happening? So you kind of go back to your mind and say, yo, dude, you were improving. What happened? And then when I was talking to the subconscious mind, it came back and said, well, if she gets better, then she won't get the welfare from the government. So I need to hold on to this depression so that you can keep receiving the money. So I was like, oh, okay, secondary gain. Yeah. So have you ever faced within the clients where they're improving, they're talking, they're negotiating, they're coming on one page, and then one of them just, nah?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not happened per se because, again, because of that combination, when I've done the MBIT, I will then follow it on with my NLP outcome orientations as well.
Right.
So my idea is to really get the clients on board into the action as well. So the secondary gain that you're talking about will come up in the conversations.
Yeah.
Because either your heart is holding on to something, or there's something that your gut is scared to do. So there's something to overcome. So that's exactly what the secondary gain exactly comes in those points and those conversations. And then we
Right.
would talk about that. What's the benefit that it's giving, or what does it need, or what's blocking it. What are the imaginative, creative things that you can think that could happen. So it's always about, okay, well, I mean, I'm not saying, just using this as an example, if that's the welfare, just at the top of my head, maybe the body would generate, okay, if that income stops, what else can start generating? Where can I get that money from otherwise? So the whole idea is that we get it aligned, and now the head's thinking, okay, what other ways can I do this?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's about, so to answer your question, the secondary gain would come up in these conversations when we're having it with the intelligences anyway. And we would have hoped, I mean, so far, what I've seen is that it resolves within that. If we've got some sort of congruence and coherence between three of them, it resolves within that.
Okay. All right. Look, almost the hour we've been talking.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, interesting. Okay, just very quickly, if you can touch. I know you said you still there's another level that you need to do, but the other
Yeah.
brains, what do they look like? Like where are they situated?
Actually, so there's one, I think it's the autonomic nervous system, and the other is the pelvic brain.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I
Okay.
wonder what they do.
मुझे लगता है सारे organs को निकाल के table पे रख के we should just have a conference.
Exactly. How wonderful would be.
What does the kidney
What a
want?
balanced world.
And the interesting thing is, I don't know, I keep mentioning this book because I love it.
Yeah.
It's my Bible to go. So Louise Hay, who's passed away now, but she talks about the emotions with all the physical diseases. So, if the lung is weak, that means anger, or the gut has the IBS issues. We store anger and frustration and rage in our gut. And that's why many of us have IBS issues, or whatever issues in the gut is related to certain emotions. How would you incorporate that? Actually, that's a good question.
So what's your question again? Sorry, just repeat it again.
So the emotions are,
just to be clear.
Yeah, sure. Louise here says, when we have a physical illness, it's usually 99% of the time related to an emotion the body's feeling. It's trying to talk to us, but obviously we don't understand the body language. And then it gives us a knee pain or IBS or something or the other. But those issues are actually related to an emotion. And then she says, once you release the emotion, the body starts to heal itself. Okay, not in all the cases, please. I'm just generally talking about what Louise Hay has said, but more or less along those lines. So if you were to find that somebody has IBS and the emotion, if we look at her work, her emotions, let's say anger or frustration. So we're going to bring that out and talk about that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, obviously if somebody came in with IBS, I would already be thinking, for instance, that there's some sort of gut related thing. So there's something they're either fearing, or there's some sort of conflict within them, whatever it is. So again, it would be from that conversation around, but again, because sometimes when we allow that space for the brains to talk, and we get that resolution and that alignment, it creates that coherence, that congruence within us, right? So it definitely would have, obviously the medications are another thing altogether, so that's obviously there, do what the GP says. But any of these things, if done properly, and if the client has been able to do the process successfully, it would definitely reduce those symptoms. So we would be able to pick it up in those things. Or sometimes it just comes to the client as well. So IBS is quite, it's a diagnosed condition. Sometimes, it might be some other thing. And while we're doing the process, it might just dawn on the client, oh, that's why I do that. Or that's why I feel that. Or sometimes if I get a shoulder pain or something, that's the connection. Sometimes it can just, because it's such a quiet internal space, and it's a slow-paced activity, that you kind of, and again, when I say the highest expression, those ideas start generating. Because you're doing that breathing, you've allowed the brains are there in a space to speak. They generate those ideas and links and recognitions themselves. There's very little conversation that the coach does here, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just the guidance and asking the right questions.
It's exactly. It's just a little bit of guidance. Most of the work is going on internally. So they would pick it up as well. So once they've got the alignment, they would see a reduction in the symptoms as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
Answer your question. Sorry.
Yes, you did. You did. I was just
Yeah.
thinking along the lines of, because the organs in the body when I was just kidding around. But I'm like, okay, so if the lung holds, I think lung was anger too, or grief. No, it was grief. If the lung, let's say they have a lung issue, and we refer to the book and it says grief. Do we bring out the lung as well? I mean, could we do that? I know we have the three brains, but
I haven't studied that. I haven't studied that yet, Huma, but
nay, it would be a good idea to like, okay, lung, what do you want? Why are you think so much? Let's bring it up.
well, maybe that's where the research needs to go. It has been done. I don't know. It depends if they have the neural connections as well.
I'm sure they do. Like,
well, yeah, of course, exactly.
yeah. It's like the whole body is beautifully designed and connected that okay, you know
absolutely.
what? I know the mind, the heart, and the gut. Now, if your lung needs work on, let's call the lung out. Let's call your kidneys out. We're having a whole
there you go.
You're
getting the hang of this, Huma. You got the hang of this, Huma.
Yes, I got it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to actually try it.
I think your meditative process might be more than 20 minutes for that reason.
Yes. The whole body is like the operations, going through the whole body.
Exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
God, amazing. I love it. Yeah, because it's like, it would make sense. Like, okay, you have a, okay, let's not go. It's going to go too deep and my mind is now, just ideas are coming in. So I'm just gonna stop the mind. The mind brain is like the logical bit is like okay, awesome. Oh my God, Mona, this was so amazing. Thank you so much. So tell me, I know you're in Saudi. You do online sessions. So how can people watching live or on replay reach you if they want to do a session with you or just talk to you?
Well, so I have an Instagram page, Mona Rana _NLP Life Coach. So, and it's got my WhatsApp number and email. I mean, the best way is to contact me through WhatsApp. So perfect. Whatever details I need. Yeah.
Could you just give me your number and I'm just going to post it?
Yeah. So that's plus 966.
Okay.
563.
Yep.
25 3052.
966-563-253052. Did I get that right?
That's right.
All right. I'm just going to post it here. It's going to take a few seconds to come up and then I'll post it here. This is so interesting.
It's really, and I would strongly suggest if anyone, they've got their own website as well, mbraining, I think mbraining.com. So if anyone's interested in it, they can even read up about it on their website.
And how long is the course? How long does it take to do the course?
This particular course was, I think, a 5-day course, as I remember. But the prerequisite is that a lot of people are coaches or have done NLP, so they're kind of like working in the field already. I think. Right. I don't know if it's a prerequisite, but it does help to have done that to be able.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
Do this.
Yeah. For sure. You have to have some understanding before you jump into the lungs.
Absolutely, but they I mean, it's a growing field. But I think even now, I think it's maybe 3,000 or 4,000 of them in the world, if I'm correct. I mean, it's in a couple of thousands. So it's still it's a growing modality.
It is.
Really interesting one. Yeah.
Amazing. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, Mona. Thank you for all that information. This was amazing. And I think
my pleasure.
I think we need a session with me.
Definitely. Likewise.
Get my organs aligned.
Yeah, just put the lung and the kidney on the side. Let me just deal with the three.
No kidding.
You can do this on your own.
Yeah,
fantastic, Mama. Thank you so much for this space. It was absolutely lovely talking about it.
Okay, if you guys are watching on replay, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Mona. Her number is showing up on the screen, hopefully. Otherwise, you can obviously DM me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So thank you guys for watching. If you're watching live, thank you for being here live. If you are watching on replay, please leave a comment and let us know what you think about this beautiful MBIT modality. Thanks, Mona.
Thank you, Mona. Take care.
Yes, bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone.